Amber Davies and welcome to Call to Stage. This is the space where musical theatre takes centre stage. From unforgettable backstage stories with incredible special guests to insights from my life and my theatre journey. We're leaving it all on the mic every single week, so let's jump in. Hi guys, welcome back to Call to Stage with me, Amber Davies, where today I am doing a full spill the tea solo ep. Just for reference, I have just finished being poorly. I have one more antibiotic to take. I have yet to go back to work. Today I have done one gentle ep just to kind of ease me back in. But honestly, let's talk about what's happened, because my God, what has gone on? And in these moments, I feel super lucky and grateful to have a platform to be able to talk about these things. Do you know what I mean? And to say my side of the story and be heard in some way, which is important right now, I think. But firstly, I won a WhatsOnStage Award! Poppy hasn't even said well done! I mean, that evening, oh guys, honestly, firstly, I had zero expectations of winning, and I mean that with my full heart. And I just want to say again, thank you so much to anybody who voted for me. I feel like Jordan and Gatsby as a whole, that contract for me was really important, and I learned so much, and I've spoke about this, and I feel like it was definitely that career shift moment, just even the people I was working with and what I learned, how to be a leading lady on stage, off stage, learning from the best, and then to get a WhatsOnStage Award for it. It was I knew I wasn't doing that 12-minute number for no reason. Still to this moment, it's the best contract I've ever done, and I'm so grateful for it. And we don't do things for awards, but to experience that, I don't think I'll ever forget it. But guys, it was so funny because I genuinely didn't think I was winning. The week before, obviously, the Olivier's announcement went out and who was nommed, and Victoria Hamilton-Barrett was, of course, in that category. And I genuinely thought there is just no chance I'm going to beat the Victoria Hamilton-Barrett, So I was on the red carpet, and Alex Buchanan, people in our industry will know her. She does PR for lots of the shows. She's PR for Legally Blonde at the minute. I work with her in Back to the Future, and I saw her on the red carpet, and I was like, I haven't prepared a speech because I'm definitely not winning. I was so convinced I wasn't going to win. And she pulls, when I was doing an interview on the red carpet, she pulls my Ben to the side and was like, she's winning. Do you think she'll be okay? And Ben was like, she'll be absolutely fine. In the interval of the show, I was then fed a glass of Prosecco, which is exactly what I needed to loosen me up for the speech. Little did I know. But I think people thought I was on a wild night out, but actually truly, because I'm not drinking at the minute, because I can't drink when I'm Elle Woods. It's not humanly possible. I'd only had one glass of Prosecco and I was so tipsy. Obviously I was tired as well because I'd just come off the back of a 7-show week. But yeah, and I feel oh my God. After the speech, I was just what did I say? I was like a ring. It all worked out pretty well though. And I was just oh my gosh, why am I like this? But it was literally the best night ever, and Nikita and Lauren were there, and I got to experience that, and Natalie was there, and just those evenings are just so special because everyone's kind of just celebrating everyone, and Bella and Grace and the Muses and later, and the fact that I was even put in the same category of as these people who I admire and adore. You know, it was just literally, I'll never forget that night ever for as long as I live. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. I can't believe it. WhatsOnStage Award winner. That will be on my grave, guys. That will be on my grave. Okay. Now let's get into the juicy stuff. I really have to be careful what I say here. No, I don't. So let's talk about everything that happened in the press, also paired with me being poorly. I will start with me being poorly, which I don't feel like I let myself down, but I definitely feel like I should have listened to my body for sure. And just in detail, so you guys know exactly what happened, was after press night, I got the flu really, really bad. There was a few of us in the building that got it. I feel like, I was already super run down from Strictly, like my body, my immune system, fatigue, all in all. And I feel like when I was building this show up from the ground, and my body was definitely in fight or flight mode. I knew I had a job to do. I knew I had to get Elle on her feet. I knew I had to tech in the show. I knew I had to do previews. I knew I had to do press night. And at the time, I was loving every single second of it. And I didn't actually know, I didn't register that I was working on a low battery percentage, immune system wise. And we really did build Elle and Legally from the ground up. When we walked into the room, this is a brand new production. Nikolai had a lot of faith in me when it came to building Elle up, and he gave me so much grace and space, and worked on my instinct. And I wanted to come in on a clean slate. I didn't want to be a carbon copy of anything we've seen before. I wanted it to be really real. And even working with Karen, who's Paulette, and George, who's Emmett, and Jamie, and we all put our whole DNA into this show. And to create takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of space in your mind and brain power. And it was a lot. So obviously then we opened, and it was near enough immediately after press night, the flu came into the building, and I got it. And I wasn't surprised in any capacity. It's not the first time I'm going to be poorly, And it turned into a chest and sinus infection, which the doctors put me on antibiotics for. Anyway, I had gone back to work still on the antibiotics because I was feeling better. I genuinely was feeling better, and I thought, you know what, I know I can do Elle, with how I'm feeling right now. And that was my first error. And I would advise anyone to finish their medicine before going back to work. Because what had happened was the infection actually never went. And what the first set of antibiotics did was just basically put a plaster over it. I needed to really rest in that moment. I think we're also drilled in as well that the show must go on, and especially guys, when your face and your name is on the poster and in front of theatres, and there's this thing of people have bought tickets to see you specifically. I do not want to disappoint anyone ever, and that will always lead me into putting everybody before me. But honestly, in that moment, I just had a bad judgment, and I did go back prematurely because I was feeling better. Anyway, turns out the infection hadn't gone. It was there pretty much the entire, the cough was still there, but I just kind of thought it was repercussions of having the flu. It's a lingering cough. And everyone said to me, that's what happens. And I was feeling fine. I genuinely was feeling fine. And then just really went downhill super, super quick. And what had happened, I can talk about Poppy and James and the team of the podcast were coming in to watch the show in Milton Keynes. And again, I was I can't go off. I knew I felt like absolute death. I'd never felt quite as poorly as how I was feeling. But because I just had the What's on Stage Awards and because I'd just done Lorraine Baines, I was like, I'm just tired, you know, and I can get through it. And I remember sitting at the back of, oh my God, why am I going to get upset? I remember sitting at the back. I was meant to drive to the show that day and I just didn't have the energy to drive. So I got in the back of an Uber and I remember just sitting there thinking, oh my God, there's something seriously wrong with me. But again, I didn't want to call in. I didn't. And because I'd just previously been ill, like 3 weeks before, I was like, I can't call in again. Like, what is going on? Like, I have to get through this. And I started the show and honestly, guys, like I'd got under the lights in my Elle costume, in my wig, and I wasn't there. Like I wasn't there, and I felt like everything was given, like my voice was shutting down on me, like simultaneously. My energy was dropping. I was like, oh my God, get me off this stage. So after Serious, I made the call. I just turned to my company manager and everybody knew that I wasn't feeling 100%. And, you know, the whole company gave me so much grace and space. And they were like, girl, we can see, you know, you need to go home. And so I went home. I then had a doctor's appointment. They ran all these checks on me and my bloods came back and my infection count was through the roof. And, you know, it was like very reassuring to me because I knew there was something wrong, you know. I just feel guilty in some way that I pushed my body that far, that I just didn't listen to it. And I'll never not do that again. Like, I will never do that again, because at the end of the day, I think, like, what is the true definition of a professional? And that is, yes, how to lead a company, how to be the morale of the group, how to be an ear to the company, to the company and the cast, how to represent yourself on and off stage. But it's also about looking after yourself and being selfish at times, because, you know, you have to look after yourself to be able to look after everybody else. And I take my job, like, yes, of course I love playing Elle, but I take my job as a leading lady very seriously, because I want this to be the best job that people have done, you know. And it was like, and it is a beautiful company. So yeah, I ended up being on antibiotics. I've got my last one to take tomorrow for 14 days. After the first 7 days of antibiotics, it was still very rough. And so I had another doctor's appointment and they put me on a steroid paired with, because this infection was just so deep and vicious and had been going on for so long, like we needed to really get rid of it. Although I was like fully unwell in bed. So for the first like week, I didn't really register it, that I was like missing a big chunk. But, you know, in hindsight of a year as Elle, I feel at peace taking those shows to get myself better again. And I don't want to come on here and say I'm never going to get ill again, because I definitely am, you know, with the job that we've got. And also, you know, I did everything I possibly could to go into Elle with like full beans. I was finishing Gatsby in the September and I literally cleared my schedule for 4 months before starting Elle. And I said to my agent, I said to my management, no, I really need to have time off here because Elle's so big and I want to be ready for her, you know. Like, I actually genuinely did everything I could to be 100% going into it. How on earth was I supposed to know that Strictly were going to call? And obviously that isn't an opportunity I can turn down. And I think I underestimated how much Strictly was going to annihilate me and chew me up. Like, yes, it was the best thing I've ever done. I would do it a million times again. Like, I loved it with all my heart, even all the shitty trolls. But I flatlined after Strictly. There's even like some clips come up on my socials sometimes of like the semi-finals and the final, and I can see it in my eyes, like I'm not there, you know. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, and like physically, emotionally, I couldn't have given any more. Like, by the end, I wasn't me. I was just like, but that is part of the experience, you know. Like, it's not like I gave it my all, so I wasn't surprised that I was like on my knees by the end. But when I think of like hindsight of a 10-day turnaround from Strictly to playing Elle, I kind of can see now why like physically I was in rocky waters. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for giving me like, God, the support online is just beautiful, and I'm very, very lucky to have a wonderful following. Especially, I think a lot of people have been with me either since 9 to 5 or since Strictly or even since Love Island, and I have a very polite and kind following, and you know, it's really beautiful to see. And yeah, so I was basically in a bit of hot water, and do you know what? I feel like I'm becoming myself again. Like, I really do. I don't feel like I'm going to be going back to Elle in a fight or flight mode. I do worry slightly, is my immune system still low? Am I prone to catching things? But do you know what? That is completely out of my hands. And all I can do is look after myself. Guys, I have like a routine now when it comes to like my health. The company know I don't do no socializing, which is something I have to sacrifice because I love a social, you guys know that. But yeah, I'm trying to wrap myself up in cotton wool to be there and to be Elle, and I love it. I literally love playing her so much. Like, she brings me so much joy. Moving on to the press. So basically I had to obviously deal with all that, and then the press happened. And I do just want to say, like, I know that the journalists have a job. Like, it is a job. And so I actually do not take it personally. I started to get a lot of kind of vicious-y, vibey press from Strictly, but I was prepared for it. Like, my team, and I was prepared for the trolls as well. You know, when all of this Strictly thing happened, we had like an emergency meeting, and I was 100% prepared for what was coming. But like I said, I know they have a job to do. And when you take into consideration, I was the youngest female on the show. Also with a training background, I literally had like, you know, I had a target on my back. I kind of knew it was coming, you know. Starting a new business can be really intimidating. When I first started Call to Stage, I couldn't have predicted how much work goes into running an online business. Schedules, assets, logos, selling tickets, merch, and so on. It can feel super overwhelming at times, and every day seems like a new list of decisions that need to be made. And even when you're up and running, constantly growing a brand takes a lot of work and time, and your to-do list can easily begin to overtake your life if you don't have the right tools that can help you simplify everything and keep you on that track. For millions of businesses, the tool that we all wished we had discovered sooner is Shopify. Shopify is the platform behind millions of businesses around the world. 10% of all online sales in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started, they all use Shopify. When you use Shopify, starting an online brand becomes so much easier. With hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style and aesthetic.
It is also packed with helpful tools that help you accelerate your content creation, from helping you with descriptions, web page headlines, and even enhancing your photography for products you want to sell. Shopify can also be your marketing team. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling. And best yet, Shopify is the expert for all things products, with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. If you're ready to sell and build your business, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your £1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.co.uk. Go to shopify.co.uk. That's shopify.co.uk.
As I was saying, yes, I know, I do know journalists have a job to do. And I do want to say as well, like in the decades that I've been in the public eye, I have come across and worked with the most beautiful journalists. And there are so many wonderful journalists out there that are like respectful and kind and listen and are fair, you know? And then obviously on the other hand, you have journalists who aren't keen on you. And I can say like the journalists that are writing about me, I've never met them. I've never been interviewed by them. I've never come across them. So I would love to know like what I have personally done wrong, but it's out of my control. So I kind of just like have to let it go. But what I will say is that nobody is hating on somebody that is doing worse than them. And so in some way, I'm just taking it as a gigantic compliment. I really am. If people are hating, it does mean you're in some capacity doing well. And yeah, I have to just change it into, I'm going to just take it as a compliment. And I actually trust in the people who know me and who follow me that it's a load of garbage, you know? I know that this big article came out about me and Hannah in a feud. And sometimes, like, it was evident the journalist that was writing the article has no idea about our industry and how it works with an alternate and sickness and what happens when the person playing the role goes off and how it works. Like, that was evident. But I have heard, and this is top tea, allegedly the sources from the article were TikTok comments. And that's when I was like, okay, that is funny. Because sometimes you can get in your head of like, wait, who are these sources? Who has spoken to the press? And then when I got told, actually, it was TikTok comments, I thought, that would check out. That would make sense to me. So, you know, when you do think, oh God, is journalism going in that direction? You do think, oh bloody hell, God help us all. But it made me feel a lot better because I just thought, right, okay, well then, you know, I can't compete with that if that's where they're getting their sources from. 12-year-olds off the internet. It's nothing to do with me, you know, and I do have to just continue being me and working hard and being successful. And I'm not ashamed to say like I am successful in any way because I've worked hard to get to where I am today. And you know what? There's going to be people along the way that want to tear you down, and that's okay. That's life. That's literal life. And I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with that. And it kind of means I'm doing well, you know? The one thing that did upset me a little bit was there were so many misprinted articles about me taking a break from Legally. And I was just kind of at home like, it's sad that this false narrative is like legally able to run, because I was I was having hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of DMs like, have you pulled out of legally? I've bought tickets to see you. And I was like, no, I just have a chest infection. Like, that was extremely excruciating. So that's why, like, it's the first time ever I've actually spoke about the press, because I had to put something out on Instagram saying, I've read a lot about me in the press and it's not true. And, you know, normally I'm like, don't touch on it, rise above. Don't touch on it, rise above. And that's the advice I'm always given from my team, is like, never address it. It's not worth your time and energy. This time I really had to address it because it was kind of like impinging on my role and my job, you know. And I think as well, what was slightly disheartening to me is like, oh, I don't want to get upset. Like, when I've had like batches of bad press in the past, like, it's actually had nothing to do with my career. Like, it's always like been like a personal thing, and I can take like personal attacks, like, that's fine, because the people who know me. But when it seeped into like the job I love most, that's when it hurt a little bit, because I thought, that has never happened before. There's never been like a crossover in that way. It's always just been about my personal life. So like, that hurt. But you know what? It needed to happen at some point, and I'm prepared for it in the future now. Yeah, I'm prepared for it. And I do think sometimes, like, I feel like, I know going on Love Island put me in the spotlight. I didn't know how much it was going to. And I feel so grateful that like 10 years on, like I was on Strictly, and like there's so many amazing things happen to me. And I know that the press comes along with that. And a lot of people say to me, oh, you're used to it, right? And like, I definitely am used to it. But sometimes like new situations come up, and it's like the first time I'm dealing with it as well. So I have to like, you know, prepare myself. But yeah, it's just like, it's such a weird alien situation, you know. But yeah, the company were amazing, and I had so many gorgeous messages. Like, even Hannah messaged me and was like, you know, that article is no reflection on what we think of you. Sorry. As like a person and as a performer. And it was just, you know, the kindness was so beautiful. So, yeah, I'm glad that I'm able to just like have a voice and speak about it, and like speak about my experience, you know, because sometimes it's tough. It's really tough. And then the last thing that I really do want to speak about, which this has broken my heart in ways that I can't even possibly imagine. When I was doing Strictly, like I said, I'd had a meeting with my team, and they prepared me for the trolling and the opinions, because sometimes opinions isn't trolling, but the opinions are mean, so it kind of counts as trolling. I think sometimes when people leave mean comments, they forget that there's like they're talking about like an actual human being who is genuinely just working hard, you know. What I wasn't prepared for was the trolling that was going to come with Elle. And I have worked so, like, I'm trying to find the words on how to explain this to you guys, but like, I've obviously been in this industry, I've done lots of jobs, and I've never experienced trolling within the musical theatre industry as much as I have during this time. And I want to like be really clear that I know how disappointing it can be when your favourite musical theatre performer doesn't book the role that you want them to book. But I think it's super important that people don't go and attack the person who is playing the role. You know, everybody has worked so hard to get to where they are in their career. Like for me, Elle Woods has always been a dream of mine, and now I'm achieving it, and it feels like the most wonderful thing in the world. But it has been hard. Like for me, I wasn't like a massive TikTok person. Like TikTok for me is engagement rings, sorry Ben, and dog videos and baby videos. And I've kind of been introduced to the world of theatre talk. And if you're on the wrong side of theatre talk, it can be really, really, really difficult, actually. And I feel like I didn't expect to be playing Elle and living my best life with this heaviness behind me of real malice and nasty comments and personal attacks and videos being made about me and DMs being sent to me. And I'm just like, wow, okay. So this is definitely something I'm going to have to cope with for the year. Obviously, that is like worst case situation, but it is what it is. There's nothing I can do. And now I have coping mechanisms so when it first started happening at the start of the contract, it really, really affected me to the point of like my anxiety was really bad. I was going on stage and I felt like I had an elephant sitting on my chest. I was so scared to open any type of social media app. And at the same time, like I knew a lot of people were celebrating me and the show, and a lot of people weren't. And I think, well, these are my coping mechanisms now. And it's so sad that I've had to do this, but I've basically, on TikTok, you can put in like key filter words. So like you don't see it on your algorithm. And don't get me wrong, not all were negative. There was beautiful ones on there as well. But what I've done is I've put in like Legally Blonde a musical, Amber Davies, Elle Woods. All of these things now are in like the key filter things that I don't want to see. And just so I can keep TikTok as just like a fun social thing for me to do. Obviously, sometimes I'll post like cool things if I can. But like other than that, like I'll post on my page and then I'll get off it and I don't read the comments, don't do anything. I think what has upset me the most, this is important, is that I'm so glad that it's happening to me and nobody else. Because I feel like, say for example, a woman was coming out of college and she booked Elle. And this was her experience of being in our industry. That would break my heart. That would seriously break my heart. And I would think, I would worry for her mental health. I really don't want this to be how our industry works. I just want to use my voice, and like with a big platform comes a big responsibility. And I just want to urge people, like, it is okay to have a different opinion, but sometimes if you have the power to make somebody's day or to ruin somebody's day, please choose the first. Everybody has worked so hard to get to where they've got to, and I just think, I beg that we think about what we post online and we think about what we say, because it is heavy and it's demoralizing and it's sad. And I've had a couple of thoughts of like, oh my God, I'm playing my dream role. Like, is it worth it? And it is. It is worth it. I have my coping mechanisms now. And I just want to urge people, I don't know how many times I can say this, just please be kind. Please, please, please be kind. You know, I'm in this job for a year, very luckily. And I really don't want to have to battle with online negativity for the year. Like, I don't. I actually think it will be really, really exhausting. Yeah, it's such a shame that, like, we even have to say this, you know. And like I said, like, I do put myself in their position. If they have, like, if they're a fan of someone that they really want to play the role, I completely get that. And I think, like, you can big people up all the time. Like, big people up. Like, that's amazing. There's enough success in the world for everyone. But try not to bring somebody else down by bigging somebody else up. I think that is super, super important. God, this has been a really heavy... I feel really nice. Have I? Yeah. I feel really like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders a little bit, because I feel like... Oh my God, I've just cried this whole ep. Even when all that stuff was going on in the press, like, oh my gosh, the amount of support I had from strangers on the internet was amazing. But yeah, there's just obviously like this whole other side that I've been introduced to or exposed to, and it's rough. It's really rough. Anyway, all I want to do is have the best year of my life. And I've kind of used these 2 weeks as like, obviously an immune system reset, but as like an emotional reset as well. And to know that I know I'm loved. I have the best job in the world. I have the best company in the world. I have the best producers in the world. They literally wrapped me up in cotton wool. And I can't wait to take Elle around the country and live my best life, because I love her so much, guys. I have so much fun playing her, honestly. She's just like, she's a queen. She's a queen. It's so ironic, because the thing about Elle is that she's authentically herself. She is always underestimated, and she always wins. And I just think, like, am I Elle? Like, am I genuinely living Elle Woods' life right now? I think all of these things make her stronger and more resilient. And Elle is strong and she's resilient and she's that bitch. And so I can't be nothing but that bitch for a year. I think that's everything. Also, like, I haven't seen Ben, and I'm not going to see Ben for like 7 weeks. How crazy is that? But he is currently in previews for Greatest Showman, and oh my God, like, the reviews are just like, not one bad review in sight. Standard. Because have you seen the company? Have you seen the cast? They are like bloody beautiful. I'm so sorry that this was like an emotional one, but I do feel like I've got everything I need to get off my chest. I cannot wait. Get that blonde wig on me tomorrow. With those 6-inch heels, and I'm going to bend and snap like never before. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I will be back next week with another fantastic episode. And I do want to say to all you listeners, to anybody who has followed me on Insta, on whatever, followed my journey, blah, 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 you are genuinely the kindest, sweetest souls. You are gorgeous women. I truly believe I have built the most beautiful, beautiful community. And thank you, because it is a representation of me and my career. And I feel so lucky to be on this journey with you guys. So thank you. And this was really heavy. I'm scared for this to go out. But I mean, it's the truth. And my truth needs to be heard, you know. And I have a platform and I need to use it. So thanks for listening. And I love you all so much. I really, really do. And I just want to say at the end of this, Mum, you're amazing. And you're my support system. And you've been with me all my life, and even when I was poorly, we had the most beautiful time together. And yeah, couldn't do life without you, Mum. I love you so much. Pop's crying. See you guys next week. I love you.